And at the core of this new consciousness, this subjective evolution, is tapping back to this mood, which is naturally there, of finding happiness in service. When we do things for others, family, society, nation, we find we get a greater satisfaction. And so that service spirit, when it is reposed to the ultimate personality, Krishna, the divine being, it yields the greatest satisfaction.
Yeah.
And so within the monastic situation, that's the focus, and all the activities are around developing this service attitude. But it's not the most practical thing for the masses.
Yeah.
And so you get a few monastics, they need to teach this yogic path to the masses, in that from wherever you are. There's a beautiful verse, Stanestita Shruti Gata Tanovana Manabi, which says, Stanestita, stay where you are. Shrutivan, just hear and absorb your mind in the talks about the divine realm, the supreme person, and your divine nature. And by understanding and hearing about that, then whatever you're doing becomes connected to this divine understanding, so that yoga connection. So then your work, your recreation, your eating, your sleeping, your mating becomes spiritualized. And so you are able to function in the world, but then you bring the divine consciousness into your area of influence. So in that way, the masses of people have a sort of a monastic living, but within their own spaces.
I see. Yeah. It's almost like I see monastics as being the pioneers of this wavelength, being the teachers of this wavelength. But the way you put it, it's like eventually everyone's going to kind of get on this wavelength. In other words, humanity's going to realize life is a sadhana, earth is an ashram, and we are all the sangha. So I see monastics in the time that we're speaking as the ones that are paving the way for that. Yeah.
I like how you put that.
I do believe it, man.
No, it's a fact. I think the example has to be set. That's how also materialism and consumerism is marching on, because the example of it is always put in our faces, and for monkey see, monkey do.
So
everyone just repeats that. So when people are now beginning to look for an alternate way of being, then the monastics and their practical way of being has to be then seen by the people. And I think it rings more true when individuals that are not necessarily fully monastic are showing that the knowledge, the awareness can be integrated into the lifestyle that most people are comfortable in, meaning within a home with children, wife, with assets, and dealing with money. And then it's easier for most to apply.
So really what this all amounts to, put in a simplistic manner, is that one's life, yes, we seem to form some kind of connection with a greater whole, the divine, God. That's cool. That's the first step. And then the next step is you work from that. Your seva becomes working and doing for that divine whole, which is ultimately in humanity as well. So what I'm saying is what comes from this path eventually comes, how do I put this? What comes from following the path is just being a selfless servant of that divine, which leads to just becoming a servant to humanity. Like you just become a natural flowing expression, like an instrument of God. You know, you just tune yourself to it, and then you play the song. Would you say that's an apt description? Like you just naturally, the service just kind of comes about. It almost becomes obligatory at some point.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
We want to be instruments of that grace. We want to reflect that love of Krishna in this world, and to demonstrate the joy of the soul, which is from selfless service.
The joy of the soul. I like that. If you ever write a book, that should be your title. I like that a lot. The joy of the soul.
Okay, I'll note that.
If it's not already taken, that's good.
Yeah, we were just out on the streets doing some Hare Krishna chanting. And one man came to us and he said, I really love this. He said, you guys are actually free.
Huh.
And he was pointing at everyone else. Everyone else is hooked and stuck. And you guys are free. You can come out and sing like children. I think that is really what the soul is about. And I thought he was really on it. You could see that by being connected, we transcend all these so-called rules and regulations that keep us thinking, I should toe the line in this way and that way, and somehow I'll become happy by just doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. Did he actually say you're out here singing like children?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just brings up the Bible quote to me. Unless you become like children, then you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, it's coming back to a sense of innocence, right? A sense of pureness, sattvic living. Oh man, I feel that.